It's the Shiesty Show. It's your host, Matt, back with another episode. This is episode 6, I believe, on November, 14th?
Oh, no, today's the 15th.
15th, my bad. Day behind here. Smoked too much weed. But, yeah, November 15th, I got a good friend with me. We met in 2017, right? I think that's when I started at Coastline. 2017.
Like that.
So I've known this guy almost 5 years. That's almost
maybe
close.
6 years.
Yeah. So we know each other for a while, but if you don't know who it is, it's Mario Reyes, aka the comedian god.
Yo.
Here with me. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's definitely it's fun to get out and let's do some talking.
Yes, sir. You know, you're my first actual guest on the Shiesty Show. So yeah, man, let's get it going. I know usually we talk about sports and all that. My guy Mario is not a big sports guy, so it's going to go all over the place.
Let's say I'm a big guy, but, you know, the one thing I have in common with my man Biggie, you know, Biggie Smalls, the notorious B.I.G.
Yes, sir.
He says in one song, the song Running, he says, "I'm so fat I fuck around, I'll catch an asthma attack." And that's the truth right there, bro.
That is true.
You know, I never thought I'd have something in common with Biggie, but it's fucking true. I do.
But anyways,
I'm so fat I fuck around, I catch an asthma attack. Oh wait, can we cuss on that?
Yeah. This is the Shiesty Show.
Fuck yeah, goddamn.
That's what we call it, the Shiesty Show here.
Yeah.
You know, but I do want to say, like, my podcast is usually sports because that's what I know. But as far as I want to take it, I do want to touch on everything. It could be anything. We're gonna do it all here at the Shiesty Show. But first thing I do want to talk about is he is a Dodgers fan. So how'd you feel about your boys collapsing again?
You know, the collapse, dude, you're right. That was a collapse, man.
Yeah.
That was like a fucking heart attack, like out of nowhere, out of left field. Like, you know, you're just like a fat guy running, all of a sudden fucking heart goes out in the 7th inning of fucking the second round of playoff, first round, whatever you call it, round of playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, hey, we dropped to the Padres. That's embarrassing within itself. And then the fucking Astros go on to win the whole thing. And
the cheaters?
Yeah, fuck the Astros, fucking assholes. You know.
I know a lot of Dodger fans, once the Dodgers didn't make it, they were just hoping the Astros weren't going to win and beat the Phillies. You know?
I automatically became a Bryce Harper lover and Phillies fan, Philly fanatic. But, you know, earlier in the year, it was fuck Bryce Harper. He could suck it. Yeah. And, well, he still can.
Well, I actually got a boy that I'm real cool with. We're close. He's a Padres fan, man. And it's funny because I talked to him last year or a couple
that
years.
is funny that he's a Padres fan.
No rings?
No
Nah,
rings.
but I told him about 2 years ago, I was like, dude, you should check out the Padres and shit because he's from San Diego. He's like, yeah, I don't really like baseball. And then over the last year and a half, bro, he just became a fan. He's been going to the games. And I know your story is a little similar to that.
They you know, you say Padres don't have a ring. They do have a ring. It's called Suffering.
Suffering? Is that marriage?
Oh, well, if we want to get into marriage.
No, but I know you got kind of a similar story. I know you weren't always into baseball. Oh, well, at least when I met you, you weren't the biggest sports guy. You know what I mean?
Actually, well, what it was when you met me, speaking of marriage, I was married at the time, and my love for the Dodgers was suppressed. How I put it, I just didn't really show my love for the Dodgers a lot because of being the family man and all that. I didn't have time to watch games.
Yeah.
In 2017, I was a hardcore fan. I did watch the World Series. I was still there.
See, that's something I did not know.
It was after 2020, after my separation from my ex, I met a girl that she was a hardcore Dodger fan.
Yeah.
And she brought out that love of when I was a little boy, the Dodger love. I bleed Dodger blue. My family is from Echo Park. My parents met in Echo Park. My aunts and uncles and cousins all still live right there in Silver Lake, Echo Park. And so I bleed Dodger blue. Yeah. My grandma's house actually looked over Dodger Stadium when I grew up.
Jeez.
So yeah, the love there goes back to my childhood.
Well, that's cool, man. I to be honest, when I first met you, I knew you skateboarded at one time, but I didn't ever think that you were like a sports guy. You know what I mean? Because I know when we would bring up football and stuff like that, you weren't really into it.
I've never been a football guy. Basketball, I got into a little bit. I was part of that. You know, I love that Shaq. Can't speak. I got caught like a motherfucker. Yeah, but you know, in the early 2000s, the Shaq Kobe dynasty. I watched that. That was when I was graduating high school. I was all into that shit.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Early 2000s. Definitely. That's what it was, bro. So going back on your Dodger, so at the end of the day, is the Dodgers do they got the team to last to keep going, or you think this is gonna be a drought for a while for the Dodgers?
No, actually, I think if we made a few changes, the changes I'd like to see right away. I'm done. Justin Turner's gone. I would be done with Justin Turner. I think I'd give Cody Bellinger one more year.
Yeah.
I'd say even with Kershaw, give Kershaw another year, but keep him limited.
Yeah.
I wouldn't keep Kershaw in the major rotation, but he would definitely be at least once a month out there.
Yeah.
You know. And then some other guys I definitely want to see gone and maybe come on. I wouldn't mind to see Judge come on.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind to see if we took on what's the fucking China boy. That's a racist comment, Mario. What's Otani from the Angels?
Oh, the Angels.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him come on. You know, so yeah, those changes.
Okay,
changes are good.
All right, man, for sure. One thing I want to get into, you did tell me that you were going to try out for The Price is Right. How did that go?
Yeah, I am going to be on an episode of Price is Right. We will be taping that shortly.
That is live first on the Shiesty show. My boy's going to be on The Price is Right.
Well, hey. What it is actually is I pass some auditions and I will be in the audience. And then from there, they'll see. But I definitely am going to be in the building. I will be in the audience. We have not set a date for taping yet because I have so many other things coming up. But we will get that going.
That's cool, man. How do you feel about that? That's a very legendary show right there. I remember Bob Barker. You know, that's a classic show right there. How do you feel about being on there?
When the opportunity came up, I couldn't pass that up. I was like, are you serious? All right, yeah, fucking let's do this.
So how did that opportunity come to you?
I have a friend who is in Hollywood and always sends me leads.
Okay.
And just, hey, check this out, do this. Originally, the episode was supposed to be for upcoming comedians and new faces and stuff like that. The producers have changed their mind. They're going to go a different route. Okay. But I'm still going to be involved and be in the show that day.
Come on down. It's The Price is Right.
Yeah, you know, it's cool, man.
No, that's a legendary show, man. Even if you stood home from school in the 90s and early 2000s, you definitely watched a couple episodes of The Price is Right.
You stayed home to watch Bob, and now we stay home from work to watch Drew.
Yeah, I know. How is Drew doing that? He's been doing that for a long time now, too.
Drew's a legend, man. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to be on the show.
Yeah.
You know, I'm only 40 years old, and the show's in its 51 season, so the show predates me 11 years. Yeah, I got to go. I got to check it out.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. And I always liked Drew when he had the show Who's Line Anyways.
Yeah,
you're a comedian, so you know that
stuff.
show.
Improv, dude.
That's what broke Wayne Brady into the industry.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what brought Wayne Brady to the forefront. What's the other guys in Colin?
Yeah, the tall guy.
Yeah, and then there's some other guys in there. Hey, the art of improv is awesome, and it takes a special talent to keep that rolling and keep it moving forward. And that's the key of improv: is move it forward, keep it moving. Yeah,
man, that's cool though, man. I know he's been doing it for a while. That's awesome though, bro. I've never met anyone to actually get on that show. So, but yeah, man, Price is Right. My boy Mario Reyes will be on there soon. Check them out.
Yeah, you know, they during the pre-interview, they ask you all kinds of questions like, well, if you win, what do you want to go? Or if you were, you know, what do you want to win? And I already have a car. Yeah. I don't need a living room set. I don't need, I don't need any of this stuff. But I love to travel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and so that's my thing right there. I just let me travel. You know, I want to go to Turkey. I want to go to Egypt. I want to go all over the world, man.
You better spin that wheel real hard.
Spin it fucking hard. And the guy's like, oh, so you want to go to Hawaii? I'm like, fuck Hawaii. I already been to Hawaii. I lived there before. I'm like, why do I want to go?
Oh, there we go. Let's jump into that, man. You lived in Hawaii?
Yeah, I lived in Maui all of 2000. 2002, I'm sorry. 2002. Right after 9/11.
Hey, that's what's up, man. That's one place that's on my bucket list that I have not got to visit is Hawaii. But I did hear out of all the islands that Maui is probably the best one. Or the better one.
If you end up going, anybody's listening to this, go to Maui. Go to Lahaina, go to the Westin Hotel, see my boy Jason Juarez. He owns, I think he just changed the name. He had to change the name to, I think it's called Island Scuba, but it used to be called Limitless Scuba. Okay. Anyway, he's a scuba master. That's my boy. I've known the dude since we were 10 years old.
Oh, shit.
You know, we're both 40 now, so it's a 30-year friendship. This is my boy. He takes tourists out diving and all that. And that's what we did. Actually, in 2002, that was his dad's company, and we ran it for his dad.
Oh, man. How is the scuba business? Was it lucrative?
Yeah, it's very, dude.
All the tourists, huh? It's got to be the tourists.
You get all the tourists 24/7.
All the tourists.
You're just making money. It's crazy.
That's cool, man. Yeah. Hey, I've never got to visit. How was the Maui Wowie out there? How was the weed?
The weed was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say something about that soil in Hawaii is different. It grows the plants different.
You know, to be honest with you, this going back 20 years, and I don't honestly remember where our weed came from back then.
Yeah.
I honestly, and honestly, again, I'm going to have to give my shout out to my boy Jason. He was my hookup back then.
Okay.
So wherever he was getting it from, I was getting it from him.
Hey, that's my next question. So I had this conversation with my cousin the other day. Does it seem like once weed became legal that a lot of the weed seemed to lose potency? A lot of the weed seems to be...
actually quite the opposite.
You think it's the opposite? Okay.
I think now... Okay, see, again, we're going to get into some shit. Like I said, I'm 40. I've been smoking since 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
I come from the day of the Mexican brick weed straight off the
border.
Stress,
if you ain't know.
Stress, like fucking brick weed, stem seeds, $10 for a dime bag, Let
me get a 5.
Yeah.
Let me get a nickel.
I got 5 on it.
Yeah, that's where that all started.
Loonies. Shout out Loonies. I got 5 on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so, and then I come from those days of the Mexican brick weed to chronic to this is Kush. What's Kush, all that kind of shit. And, what I have right here in front of you is beautiful. This is the Kuttonmouth Kush.
Okay.
This is the Dog's Life OG.
Kuttonmouth Kush.
Kuttonmouth Kings. If you don't know the Kuttonmouth Kings, I have a long history with those fools.
Yeah.
Now, they have their own strain of weed, put out exclusively by the Healing Tree in Lake Elsinore.
Oh, I know that place too.
The Healing Tree Dispensary.
Yeah, I have tried.
Listen, if you're in Riverside County, South Corona, Lake Elsinore area, the Healing Tree's got you. That's the place to go.
It's a pretty awesome place.
Yeah, so I packed you a bowl. This is the Dog's Life OG. It tests.
Let's try this out here.
You know what? I forgot what it tests. I got to
Shiesty show. We don't do drugs. We just smoke weed. So let me try this out here. We got some Kuttonmouth Kush.
This one tests at 36% THC.
Ooh. Now, let me take this here and let me tell you why I wanted to get into it. I told you. Let me take this here.
Taking a rip.
Okay, so what I wanted to say was I've been getting weed lately from Hyperwolf. Hyperwolf is a big company out here. They deliver. If you don't know, they're a delivery service. But the thing with them is, like, some days I get good shit, and then there's days where I'll get something, and I feel like I constantly got to be smoking. I constantly got to pack a bowl. Now, I don't know if it's the tolerance, it's the weed, but I remember getting stressed back in the days, like we were saying, and getting some stress where I was fucking blown.
See,
now, is that because I was was that because I was a younger man in a young mind, or is it because the weed is being, I feel like the weed is being mass produced, so it's not cared the same. It's not cared for the same.
No, a mass produced, it doesn't matter if you have a mass produced garden or not. Every plant's going to be taken care of individually. And if you got a master grower, you got growers that know what they're doing and watching every individual plant, then people are going to argue with me on this one, but even if you have 1 million plants, you have one plant.
Yeah.
Because you're going to treat every single plant differently. So a mass garden to a single garden, it doesn't matter.
Well, and this guy, he has a little bit of experience because he has grown weed before.
Exactly. I've grown on little scale, big scale. And I'll tell you this, it's kind of crazy. Like right there, I say that weed right there you're smoking is 36% THC. Now, if you smoke that every single day, you're going to grow a tolerance to it. Now, go switch it up one day and go smoke a Mexican brick weed at 10% THC. And you're gonna be like, oh fuck! I don't even
think you can find that shit anymore.
Oh, it's doable.
You think
it's doable. Oh yeah. You just.
Dude, you know what's so crazy is like stress was more prevalent than Kush, and now Kush is just outright taking over everything, though.
Yeah.
You know? Even chronic, like, you don't even see chronic like that anymore.
Well, I was going to say, so you can go out there, if you smoke this 36 every single day, and then go out there one day and smoke a 10% or a 15%, a lower strain, it is going to make you higher because your body's not used to that. Your mind is not used to that. So sometimes it is good to switch it up. Hey, you can't have Cavassier every single day. Sometimes you need a Budweiser.
I guess for me, maybe it's just the weed I'm choosing, man.
Are you an indica or a sativa?
I'm a sativa man.
Okay, so your sativas.
Well, I know sativa is usually a little bit lighter.
Well, let me tell you. So sativas are really great for the mornings, daytime. Yeah. Before a podcast, perhaps. Yep. Before you're going to do stuff creatively, that's when sativas are the best.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're going to sit there and smoke sativas as a daily high, you might not be getting the best out of it.
Makes sense. Stick with indica on the daily.
You might want to switch it to a hybrid where it's an indica, it's a sativa dominant hybrid, but a light indica.
Yeah, light indica.
And you're still going to get that sativa high, but you're going to get that indica where you're chilling.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me ask you this. Give me your top 3 favorite strains of all time. Us being weed connoisseurs, give me your...
Okay, so my top favorite strains, three strains.
Your top 3.
Marijuana.
No.
It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter to me.
You're not
See, here's the thing. Like I even just said, here's this Kuttonmouth Kush, this blah, blah, blah. I don't really get into the names of shit because everybody names their
super
shit
sour
different.
Skittles.
Yeah. This is Magazine Ripper.
Yeah.
And it just, it's just weird names. I don't, unless you really know a particular brand, and that's another one we can get into is branding of weed. Branding.
Packaging.
I'm not a fan of it.
It's a big thing though now, because a lot of Hyperwolf they come with the fucking. That's what it is, because I notice sometimes the packaging looks fire, right, and you expect the bud to be fire, and then sometimes I'm let down by how it looks, and then I'm like, this shit ain't really all that.
Old school way is you would walk in the dispensary, or even your neighborhood guy. We all had a guy.
Yes, I know that guy.
We missed the guy, don't we? We missed the guy.
I do. I missed the guy. I used to go chill and watch TV and get a sack.
Exactly. Sometimes the guy was a few guy or a girl or, Anyway, we missed that person. Mm-hmm. I miss the days of being able to walk into a dispensary and looking at a jar, smelling that jar, and saying, oh, I want that nug. I want that particular nugget. And then they say, all right, cool. They get the Ziploc baggie out or your medical
you could
jar.
Actually smell it, touch it.
And they weigh that shit out right there in front of you.
Yeah, that's
Boom,
true.
here you go.
The jar.
And it's in a Ziploc bag, and they might write the name on the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
that's but it's old coming out the jar. Yeah, it's coming out the jar.
It's coming out your jar.
Yeah.
That's old school, and that's the way to go, I think.
Yeah.
But because the government and bureaucracy got involved and businesses got involved in branding, now you got to have, let's take this jar, for example. Of course, we're on audio, so you can't really see this. But this jar I'm holding in my hand, you have to have a California label on it.
Yeah.
To exclusively say this is from California. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I go, let's say I keep this jar and I go to Nevada, I just got caught for interstate travel.
Oh shit! They're gonna say you're smuggling,
right? Oh, you're smuggling. Yeah. You're a criminal.
You're smuggling this little nug.
Immediately, you're already fucking us there. That's one step.
Yeah.
And then on the other thing, I'll give you this. Kind of like our food labels, everything's got to be labeled on the jar.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Your THC
it causes
content.
Cancer.
Yeah, your THC content or your calorie content. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock that aspect of it. I think it's pretty cool to have the listing of the cannabinoids and THC and all that. That's cool. But all the other shit, fuck it. We don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need. And then we'll get into this brand, the branding thing. I'm gonna throw cookies on blast.
Okay, well let me just say this real quick though. My 3 favorite strains, I got them for you. Ready? My 3 favorite strains would be Gorilla Glue, Blue Dream, and the OG Kush. That's the classic. That's the first one to ever come out.
What does OG stand for?
OG, the original gangster.
Nope.
The original Kush.
No, you're wrong.
Okay, let's tell me.
It actually stands for Ocean Grown. The original strain of Kush being grown up in the Humboldt, Northern California, was grown right on the coastline, especially in Oregon too, so
up in the forest over there.
Exactly, and that's near the ocean, so it was ocean grown OG. That's where the OG Kush.
And when I hear a lot of rappers too on podcasts, like I've heard Be Real and all them, they always ask, "What's your favorite strain?" And that's their go-to, dog. OG Kush is always. I guess it's just the reliability of it, dog. You know, no matter what, you know what you're getting when you get some OG Kush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. But back to what you were saying, branding.
So like, I'll tell you this. I went, was in 2020. I did this little tour where I was in San Francisco, Palm Springs, Hollywood. I was in a bunch of different cities all in a small amount of time. So San Francisco, I go to Haight-Ashbury.
Okay.
I go to the cookie store in Haight-Ashbury. Cool place. Go
Burner
check it out,
store
guys.
Here. Burner,
the Burner
wrapper.
Store.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cookies.
So I buy 2/8, a quarter, 2/8 of Gary Payton cookies.
And that's supposed to be their best
That's
strain.
supposed to be one of their best strains,
yeah,
right?
their best strain.
So immediately, I smoke one of those 8s there in Frisco. The other 8th came home with me. A few weeks later, I'm in Palm Springs. I go to that cookie store in Palm Springs. I see another thing with Gary Payton. I'm going to pick up 2 more Gary Paytons because I liked it.
It was fire.
It was not the same shit. Visibly different.
Oh, man.
Even when I got home and I compared the package, everything. The packaging's the same.
Yeah.
Because you can buy that shit on Amazon. You can buy that shit anywhere in the world.
True.
The weed inside, completely 2 different strains.
And you can just tell off the look.
You can just tell by the look, the smell, the taste, everything. The high, everything. So that right there is the problem with branding and marketing. You know, everybody in this local market, they're going to sell this local market's weed. And then you're going to move 50 miles up the road, it's different weed. You know, right now it's not consistent in the market. We haven't had a huge enough grow to sustain the marketplace. So you get a lot of different strains, a lot of different growers selling and supplying to these brands, so-called brands.
Yeah, you know what, man? And that's what I was going to say, too. I remember Exhibit in an interview talking about how people were ripping off brass knuckles. And the brass knuckles, too. He was saying that people were ripping off the cartridges from brass knuckles and making their own shit and then finding the shit from China to repackage it and send it out.
Another thing, you've not heard me promote cartridges. I will not promote cartridges. I will not promote vapes.
I don't like smoking those anymore.
Exactly. I will not promote vapes, cartridges, any of those kind of products. I don't know what's in them.
Who's making them?
What's in it. I'm old school. Give me my fucking green with a pipe or paper, my bong, whatever. That's how it's supposed to be.
Preferably a bong.
Yeah, preferably a bong.
So I could just take 2 rips and be lit.
You don't. How would I put it? You don't need to be in the mall blowing clouds.
Yeah.
You don't need to be walking down the street blowing clouds. You know, this vape thing, and I'm talking about tobacco vapes too. I just think it's weird.
I think for me too, it started to when I heard that from Exhibit, and I would try certain carts. I would look at the juice. Sometimes it was darker than usual or something, right? And I'm like, I would start hitting it, and I would get a headache. And I'm like, this has got to be
or your
some
lung term. If you're asthmatic, and your asthma
your cough sounds different also as well. And you're just like, this is not 100%. You know what I think it is. Let me just stick to the flower. I just stick to the flower, man. I don't really mess with the carts anymore. You know, and I was heavy on them because of that reason, though. I did like the fact that you could be at the movies, you could be at the beach, you could be in your room. It has
its appeal,
and it doesn't smell.
But then again, you really need to be that high all the time.
And yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like.
Yes, you do.
Nah, that's true. No. But what I will say, the high with the pen was sometimes a little too intense for what I needed. Sometimes I like to catch a little bit of a buzz.
Didn't I gave you some pins too, huh?
Yeah, you gave me some
pins.
Yeah,
I done some promo with God damn, I can't remember the name of the company now. Anyway, I did some video work with this company. And they gave me a shitload of product, and again, I'm not a vape fan, so I gave it to you, and I think some other few friends I had, and it's if that's what you want to get high on, that's fine by me.
What about dabs? How do you feel about dabs?
I am a dabber. I took a fat fucking dab before I came in. I'm surprised I'm awake right now.
Because I got to get prepared for the podcast.
Shit, man. I came home from work tonight. I put in almost a 12-hour day today. I was tired as fuck.
Yeah.
Come home. I took just one nice sized dab. And I had to set an alarm just so I didn't fall asleep to come do your...
Hell yeah, he made it out to the Shiesty show. Nah, but what I will say, though...
There's a lot of traffic between here and there.
Oh, man. You wouldn't get it if you don't live in the thieves. But let me tell you. Nah, but the one thing I will say about the pens is, like I said, it was very convenient sometimes to be able to just pull it out in a mall or whatever. But like you said, I don't need to be... Even no matter how much you smoke weed, you're gonna get paranoid sometimes. And I always felt like the pens made me paranoid, bro, because it was just a little bit too much.
The only time I really used a pen was when I went to Disneyland. And I was at Disneyland. You're at Disneyland, 12, 13, whatever hours in that day.
It's a little rip.
And take little rips walking through the park here and there.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's
but the dab thing, I was gonna say too. Now I remember. The dab thing is, I just felt always kind of weird, like bringing out a torch and like blowing shit down.
You do look,
right? If you saw some dude in the car, some dude in the car doing that, you would automatically just be like, "Oh yeah, he's fucking doing
you're right,
crack or something."
Like, I'm sitting there alone in my bedroom, and you get your torch out, and you're like, you set a timer on. Hey Siri, start timer 60 seconds.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
And then you just take these rips, and then the way I call it is space travel.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
That's just it's a rocket ship to the moon.
Yeah, so if you want to get high fast, that's the route for you. But for me, I like the whole process of rolling up a blunt, breaking down my weed. I like to look at it, see how it smells.
The dabs
I love purple in my weed too.
The dabs are fun when you just want to take one quick little rip and you're good for
and you got to go somewhere. You're like, okay.
Oh, yeah, you got to go somewhere.
You're like, okay, I just want to get high real quick and be good.
Yeah, exactly. That's when dabs are good for you.
Well, let's get back to this, your branding here. Kuttonmouth Kings. If y'all ain't know, my boy was a videographer back in the days. This is when Kuttonmouth Kings was doing. This is when Kuttonmouth Kings was big time doing tours with Dr. Dre, the Up and Smoke tour, Ice Cube, all the legends, How was that for you? Well, let me ask you this. How did you get to know those guys, first of all?
Oh, man. So
how did it start from there?
It's a very long, boring story, but I'll tell you a brief part of it.
No, we got the podcast, man. We got all day here.
Okay, so before the Kuttonmouth Kings was a band, they were a different band called the Humble Gods. So that would be Brad from Kuttonmouth and Louie from Kuttonmouth, the drummer and the lead singer. They had a band called the Humble Gods. They would come up to the high desert where I was living, and I was already,
this is like what? This is like Victorville?
Phelan, High Desert, area? Wrightwood, Phelan area of Victorville.
Okay. We got to let the people know. We got to know, you know what I mean, where it started right here.
So I happened to actually live on the same block as the STP house. If you don't know what the STP house is, Sublime, famous Sublime, has a song called STP, the Secret Tweaker Pad. That place was in Phelan.
Oh, there you
go. That little pad actually had a bunch of musicians living in it. It is a bunch of tweaker pad musicians in and out.
I did hear that Sublime around this time probably was doing like backyard concerts and
all the time. We're doing backyard parties. And so one of the groups that lived there was a group called Mulch. Mm-hmm. And Mulch I became friends with those guys, hanging out with them, promoting for their shows all around the high desert. And then Humble Gods would start coming around doing shows with them, and I became their little rep guy for the high desert because they were from Hollywood. They were actually, the Humble Gods were actually on Eazy-E's first record.
And let's just to be straight, Humble Gods is what turned in
to Kuttonmouth Kings.
Okay.
Yes.
So Humble Gods.
So I started promoting for Humble back in the high desert, back when I was in 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
And then Kuttonmouth formed, and along the way, doing all the house parties, and I was always there taking my camera, video. Along the way, Brad asked me just jump on. Let's just keep filming. They eventually got on to Capitol Records. They had their own, when they were on Capitol, they had their own video stuff. Mm-hmm. When they started Suburban Noise Records, I came back on. And that was roughly, 2001-ish, 2002?
Okay, so Suburban, what was it called?
Suburban Noise Records.
That was Kottonmouth King's record label.
Yeah, and actually next year they're celebrating 25 years. 25 years,
okay.
Suburban Noise Records.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they had their own record label.
Oh, it's going to be big next year, man. We're going to do a bunch of reunion tours, album drops, anniversary stuff. It's next year's going to be crazy.
Okay, so back to the story. They got the record company.
So yeah, once they were on Suburban Noise, it was all independent, in-house, call your brothers, call your friends, let's get this, low budget type of shit. And that's where I came along. I would just jump on the bus or drive myself a lot of the times. Go to the shows, film shows, and started becoming, I guess you would say, like a roadie for them. Mm-hmm. And doing shows and... Not just Kuttonmouth, but every band that was on Suburban Noise and SRH at the time.
And that's how you got to get your stripes, right? You got to do all the dirty work. Yeah.
I put in the work early on.
Yeah.
And now, 25, 26 years later, here I am. I'm still rocking, still doing shows with these guys. I'm now actually, I'll jump on stage and I'll jump and do a couple songs with Kuttonmouth.
Yeah, I seen that on your IG. But back to the younger days. Was it because they were known for being potheads as well? How was the after the show? How was it like? Was it party all the time?
After parties are legendary, man.
Was it party all the time?
Oh man, fucking smoke so thick you can't see 2 feet in front of you.
Because let's not forget, these guys were doing shows with Dr. Dre, Eminem, fucking Ice Cube.
If you name it, the Kottonmouth was a major opening band for a lot of bigger acts. Cypress Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Tech,
Cypress Hill.
What's crazy is Tech 9 used to open for us. Now it's reversed. We would open for Tech now. Mm-hmm. A lot of the Linkin Park. Same thing. Linkin Park would open for Kottonmouth, and then it was like a reversal overnight. Kottonmouth started opening for Lincoln.
Hey, but that's cool that they can come back around and be like, hey, you helped us when we needed you. Let us throw you a line and y'all come back. Yeah. Because they were big time at one time. I remember my cousin getting that Up in Smoke tour 2001 on DVD.
I filmed that.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get to. He bought that DVD, and I remember we would watch it religiously because they had Still Dre. They had Snoop Dogg come out. They had Kottonmouth King. They had Bone Thugs. Mm-hmm. It was just one of the best things, dude. So how was that experience?
I mean, actually, that is a very fun. The Up in Smoke 2002 show.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that. So I was living in Maui, actually, in all of 2002.
Back to Hawaii? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was living in Maui. And at around October, November-ish of that year, our lease was up. Me and Jason, we had an apartment together. Our lease was up. I had a phone conversation with Brad from Kottonmouth, and he asked me if I can come out. He thought I was still in California at the time. I had to correct him. I was like, dude, I'm not even in Cali.
Yeah.
But he was like, well, if you can come out to the fucking show, come out and film this. We need you. Da, da, da. So long story short, I was like, fuck Maui. I ended up leaving. I left Maui November 20th, 2002. That show, I think, was the 22nd or the 23rd, something like that. It's like literally 2 or 3 days after I got back. Mm-hmm. Go and do that show, the Up in Smoke show, Up in Smoke tour, Cypress, all that whole show. I was one of the main videographers. I was on the ground floor right by the stage. So if you see any stage footage looking up, that's pretty much my footage.
And for all you young people, go look this up on YouTube. 2002 Up in Smoke tour.
I got to film Snoop Dogg, Everlast, Cypress Hill. It was an awesome opportunity to film right there.
Because basically they're saying if you're their cameraman for Kottonmouth King, just record everybody.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
basically what they're saying.
I think it was actually the media. It was called Eagle Media or Eagle One Media. Some company like that. You can look it up. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that actually hired us all.
Okay.
And
you guys just all kind of worked as a team,
yes,
then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And and I had done other projects with them. We did like a Dirt Riot DVD later on and some other shit.
Okay.
I like to claim, even on my Instagram, my video footage has been seen by over 1 million people.
Hell yeah, dog! I'm telling you that DVD,
that's not just the Kottonmouth footage. That's not just Kottonmouth. Yeah. I've gotten into a lot of other things, and Taco God, Andy Roy. And the list goes on and on and on.
I do watch that Taco Guy sometimes, and I seen you did some with what's his name with the guy that does Cholo Fit?
Cholo Fit.
He's a cool cat. Yeah, hold on, but let's get back to Kottonmouth real quick, and then we'll talk about him. But the Kottonmouth situation. So how was that seeing Dre, seeing all those guys? This is the prime of their careers right here, man.
Oh, yeah, man. I can tell you
How was the vibe in the building? that day.
Every show was. It's all family. Everyone's love.
Yeah.
If you are with the there is this bro attitude. There is that bro aspect. But, hey, if you come and act like a dumbass, you're going to get treated like a dumbass.
Yeah.
And if you're fucking cool, you'd be cool. Mm-hmm. I guess that's the best advice I can give people. Don't be a dumbass.
But, yeah, man, that's, like I said, that's some of the most legendary. I even seen Exhibit talk about it one time on a podcast, and he was saying how, like, that was the most fun that all those guys had going on that tour right there, man.
Exhibit's a real fucking cat, man. Every time I've gotten a chance to talk with him and hang out with him, that dude's real as fuck. He answers every question I've asked him, and I could approach him like I've known the guy for years. The guy's really fun and approachable. He's cool.
So that's me being from the West Coast as one of my favorite rappers. How is he? Very humble, very down to earth.
Exhibit. I've worked with Exhibit now twice. No, 2 times.
The Kush stock, right?
Yeah, I've done some Kush stock. No, I did some Napalm videos with him too.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Yeah, that's his weed brand. If you guys don't know,
there is 3 events: 2 Kush stocks and the Napalm one. Yeah,
the Napalm. Right. Yeah, the one that comes in the grenade. If you see that's Exhibit right there.
Yeah.
So how was it? How was it meeting it? Like, that's one of my favorite rappers, and I think. I was telling one of my friends this. I don't think he gets a lot of respect now because kids or people younger remember him from Pimp My Ride. But at one time, Exhibit was one of the most dopest MCs.
The thing with the Pimp My Ride, that's the Pimp My Ride kind of, and to do those shows, that's a double-edged sword for a guy like Exhibit. You already have your career as a rapper and you're established here. Now, do you want to move into this acting and this kind of thing? On one hand, why not? Let's do this. And you might think, okay, the TV show's one thing. It's going to be fun and everything. I don't think Exhibit knew at that time.
It was going to be big. How big?
The global.
Yeah, how big it was.
Not just here in America. Pimp My Ride was huge all over the world.
All over the world, yeah.
And what that did, not just for West Coast Customs, but what that did for Exhibit as the rapper, that blew him up.
Yeah.
That
more than his music was.
Exactly. Yeah. Pimp My Ride put him on more stages than X to the Z.
Mm-hmm. And X to the Z is one of the baddest songs ever. Yeah. But at that point, it's funny because in that same podcast, he was saying how he's like, I got more recognized from soccer moms knowing about Pimp My Ride than he did for his raps.
But somebody had to do that show.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? At that time, that show was cool, man. I think he did a good job.
Exactly.
He did a good job doing that.
He did good. He was all right.
So going back to Kuttonmouth Kings thing. So how are those guys now? How's it look when those guys do a show?
Well, right now, there's only one original member of the Kuttonmouth Kings pretty much doing it now.
Yeah.
Everyone else
retired.
Well, 2 guys have passed on.
Saint Dog.
Yeah, Saint Dog, unfortunately. Saint Dog Steven, he passed away October of 20.
Rest in peace.
And Pakalika passed away August of 2012. So, both those guys, rest in peace for Pac and Saint. The other guys from Kuttonmouth, they're just doing their own thing. They don't really...
I seen that, I ain't gonna lie, I seen that Back to the Hotel. That one was pretty good, man. Because I love the original song.
Fuck, man.
The original song is classic.
Indeed, yeah. So I'll tell you, that was a fun weekend. I originally just went out there to hang out and party. And
let me just set this up. Kuttonmouth Kings did a song while some of the members...
Johnny Richter from Kuttonmouth. There's a side member called Chucky Chuck. He has a band called Chucky Chuck D-Gaff. Don't give a fuck.
And these guys went to Vegas, and Mario was there. They did a music video called Back to the Hotel.
Well, right. Yeah, so I'll set this up. There's an Arizona rapper. He actually runs with Yellow Wolf. His name is Stack Styles.
Oh, Yellow Wolf, big time.
Stack is the shit, dude. I love Stack Styles.
Yeah.
So this is actually his project, his idea. He brought his own camera crew and everything. Richter and Chucky had me, basically. So I filmed their parts, and that's kind of how we all budgeted. We did it. Stack Styles parts were done right there in the Hangover Suite inside Caesar's Palace in Vegas. So that was a fun.
That was the one they used for the film.
Yeah, exactly. That was a fun place to be in that room and the history of that room. You know, fuck. You know how many people have been up in that room and then we're filming a video. It's just cool in there.
Yep.
And then the other parts, Richter's part and Chucky's part, we filmed at the Rio, and that's where the fun began.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a king size suite inside the Rio, and we were filming a music video at 1 a.m. with 25 people in the hotel room. Because the song is Back to the Hotel. We're partying in the hotel,
let's
you know.
Go back to the hotel, yep.
You know? Well, we actually wrapped. We were done. We finished, and then we're smoking basically a celebratory blunt. And that set off the fire alarm.
Okay, what's a celebratory blunt here?
The celebratory blunt is we're done filming. We're fucking
toasted.
Yeah, you know, we had one more scene the very next day, and that was it. But the hotel shit was done.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the alarms go off. Dude, we smoked out the whole 12th floor of the Rio.
Nobody came and banged on the door?
Oh, they banged on the door. Metro came in. So get this, bro. And this is all on video. So if you don't believe me, you can go to YouTube, youtube.com/subnoise with a Z, 951. That's my YouTube. Or you can type in DGAF Shenanigans, Vegas. And this video, so let me tell you, in this video, my boy Dun, he drinks some Everclear. If you don't know what Everclear is, we got fucked up on Everclear, right? Well, Dun passed out. Yeah. Dun was just done. And it was one of these scenes as we're clearing out the room. I'm one of the last people in the room. I got to clean out my camera equipment and grab my weed, my bong and everything. And I know the cops are coming, you know, and I literally am one of the last people out the door. I remember looking over at Dun just passed out as fuck on the bed. And it was one of those, I got to leave my buddy like on the battlefield type of things. You know?
He'll be all right.
He'll be all right. And you see in the video, the cops didn't even fuck with him. The cops were like, he's passed out, fucking, you know, whatever.
He's had a long night, huh? He's had a long night. But nah, I did.
Great video though. Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, look it up. If you guys haven't seen, look it up. It's called Back to the Hotel. It's a remix of the original.
Back to the Hotel with Stack Styles.
It's a remix of an original song from N Too Deep. Great song. I listened to it, man, and I liked it. I watched it because of you. I watch your content sometimes, and I was like, let me go check it out, you know. And it was pretty dope. Former member of Kuttonmouth Kings were in it, so you know it was pretty dope. I had to check it out.
Well, and then that boy Chucky that's in it, he just made national headlines on TMZ for his smoke cannon at Kushtok.
What the hell? So what's this?
Smoke cannon? You didn't see that?
No,
like,
that
shit made national headlines.
So and I'm a smoker. I didn't see this one.
There's a company out there called Elite Solutions, based out of Anaheim. So they make this smoke cannon. We basically put about a pound of weed in a leaf blower and set that shit on fire.
I see those now. Yeah.
We just blow the whole
smoke
crowd.
The whole building out.
Yeah, you know.
That's
if
cool,
you don't know
man.
Chucky Chuck DGAF is that don't give a fuck, or DGAF actually, you know, it stands for we're doing God a favor.
Oh yeah,
we're a
man.
Christian soccer organization.
No, that was a cool video. Now I want to bring up some other shit this guy's been through in music. He told me a story about how he got to see Eminem before Eminem was famous. So you gotta tell the people this. You got can you please hand me the beer right there though? Yeah. I want to hear this story. Let's let the people hear.
I think we're gonna have to pack another bowl.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, here, this one's ash.
That Kuttonmouth Kush.
Yeah, pack another one. I'll tell this story here.
Okay, let me hear this.
So this goes back to '99. Again, I'm old, kids. I'm old. 1999, Eminem, Slim Shady, the Warped Tour, the Vans Warped Tour. I would go every year. I've been going to the Warped Tour since '95 when it was actually bored in Orange County. So that's how old. If you don't know that, the original Warped Tour is called Bored in Orange County, kids. So anyway, Eminem's on stage and he's singing about fuck him and fuck women and all whatever his fucking shenanigan was back then. And I just didn't like it. I wasn't a big fan. I'll be honest. I'm a 17, 18-year-old punk rock kid. I just didn't fucking get
And let's
it.
set this up. You said this was in Big Bear, right?
No, this is San Bernardino.
San Bernardino, okay.
San Bernardino. At the Nas Center, National Orange Show.
Okay, yep.
So Eminem's on the smaller stage, actually. He's not even on the main stage. He's on
because
one of
he's
the
not a headliner at the time.
It's actually D12. It's
Yeah.
actually Eminem with D12. And he's on stage and he's singing, and I just didn't like his rhetoric. I just didn't like it. And I looked down at the ground, and I seen a 7-Up bottle, like a plastic half-drink 7-Up bottle. Picked it up, and I just threw it as hard as I could, and I hit Eminem right above the left eye. like boom, right in the fucking head.
Before he was a legend.
Before he was a legend, of course. And he gets all pissed off. Like, fuck San Bernardino. Him and Bizarre were like, fuck this shit. And they stormed off stage, and they basically I ended the Eminem show. But let me tell you, the funny thing to that is, like I said, that was 17, 18-year-old me. The me now at 40, honestly, if Eminem, Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers, if he gets a hold of this, I truly apologize, actually. I now look back at that as, dude, I'm a fucking, fuck me, I'm a punk kid, fuck you. What the fuck am I doing, Because here is Marshall Mathers. I'm going to take the entertainer out of it. I'm going to add the man. Mm-hmm. The man, yes, Marshall Mathers, is cross-country trying to do the best he can to provide for himself and his kids, and this is the best he can do. And here I am, some punk kid throwing shit at him. Fuck me,
Well, let me say this.
I would apologize to him today.
Were the bars whack, or you just were being...
I just didn't like him. I just didn't get... I was a punk kid, bro.
Okay,
That's the truth. That is the God-honest truth. Yeah. I was a punk kid, and I didn't respect it. Now, as an adult, I look back, and I see the man. And I see what he was doing. And I truly would apologize to him right now. If I would shake his hand and be like, I'm sorry for throwing that bottle at you,
well, bro. Slim Shady Eminem, if you ever hear this Shiesty show from my boy Mario.
It's the truth. He's sorry. That's maturity right there, bro. Yeah, that's growing up.
That is, man. I just wanted to get that story on the podcast. That's why I wanted to have you on to just pick your brain.
And what's funny is I do know people close to Eminem, and I have shared that story. One of my boy, Chris Glove, if you don't know the Glove. The Glove is legendary, fucking Reckless, Ice-T Reckless, look it up. So I told the Glove that story, and he said he was, he would tell Eminem one day. So I'm sure that story gets around.
And it's, I think something like that for an artist trying to make it, I'm pretty sure that sticks out in his mind, bro. He probably doesn't have no idea who you are.
Oh, but he remembers the incident.
Yeah, I guarantee he remembers the incident.
I'll tell you. I've now been around entertainers and entertainment pretty much all my life, 30-something years. And I get it. I truly get what they're trying to do, and I would apologize to them. And as myself as a comedian, I've gotten booed off the stage. Mm-hmm. I'm on stage trying to tell jokes as a comedian, and people don't buy it. Some crowds are rougher than others.
Well, let's that's a great segue to hop into this. Mario Reyes is an inspired comedian. He's doing his thing. He's been doing shows. So, first question I always want to ask: how does it feel bombing on stage? Because that's got to be one of the worst things, dude.
It's actually good.
It's good.
It lets you know that it's not working, and it lets you know where you got to go and retool. Not every joke can win, and every set be a winner. You got to have those bombs. You got to have those failures to succeed, and that's how you learn. I know I've been doing comedy now. I'm on my second go. I started back up in 2020, but before that, before you met me, I did comedy from 2006.
I remember that you told me you were doing comedy.
I was on Sirius XM. I actually started comedy in 2006. Dude, I'm got this worst cottonmouth. This weed, hold on.
And he is wearing a cottonmouth shirt.
Well, yeah, SRH, actually, but yeah. I get all my shirts from SRH.
But the bombing on stage has got to be one of the craziest feelings, right?
No, actually, one of the worst feelings is when you're on stage and there's nobody in the crowd. That's the worst.
So you'd rather get bombed than not have nobody in the show?
Yeah, I hate. There's shows where there's only 4 or 5 people in the crowd.
Yeah,
I hate those shows. It's like, it's dead. You're talking to a fucking wall.
Yeah.
And then I performed in front of 400 or 500 people, and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hear like Joe Rogan and all these guys that are comedians. Bombing is just gonna happen. It happens to everybody. So I just always wanted to know how a comedian would feel bombing, because I feel like it would be for a rapper, because I make music and rap. I think it's the same thing for a rapper to go on stage and, like you said, people start throwing things and boo. So yeah. I just wondered, but I think for a comedian, it's so direct because these people are just looking straight at you.
Comedy is very subjective.
Yeah, I
could sit here and make a joke, and let's just say there's 5 people in the room. 3 of them are going to laugh and 2 of them are going to be offended, or the other way around. Mm-hmm. That's just how comedy is. It's subjective. Yeah.
And while music can be subjective as well, because some people, like they always say, some people are gonna hate it, some people are gonna love it, right?
Exactly. There's, I'd say lately, I can't tell you of I'm gonna not say rappers or rap music, but bands, music, like rock and roll music. There's not been a band out there that has caught my attention in the last 20 years, honestly.
And what would be the last band?
The last group that I actually liked, I'm embarrassed to even say it was 21 Pilots.
21 Pilots.
Which is just two
and I know
guys,
who, and I know who that is.
Which is just 2 guys from Ohio. Mm-hmm. And I even see them live back in November of 19. They put on a fucking awesome show. Mm-hmm. The sound these 2 guys make, it's awesome. I've not really seen that out of the industry. What I've been seeing in the last 10 years, this auto-tune bullshit, SoundCloud.
Every rapper sounds the same.
Yeah,
right?
this
Every rapper sounds the
SoundCloud
same.
rap bullshit. You know, I respect realness. Now, when was the last time I've seen any rapper out there with a real guitar, real drum, real instruments?
Anything.
No, you haven't seen it in a long time.
And another thing to add on to that is, like, I feel like when we were younger, like 90s, early 2000s, I feel like every artist had a different style. They had their own unique thing, right?
Everyone's almost the same now.
And like they had their own way they carry themselves, the way they rap.
It's very cookie cutter.
Yeah, and now it's just same thing. It's like a factory. Print it out.
Yeah, I want to see the return of live music. I want
instruments.
To see instruments.
Dude, I went to a place in Riverside. If you guys are listening, it's called Back to the Grind. It's a coffee shop in downtown Riverside. I seen one of the best shows ever. It was a black guy on a guitar, and it was a white boy on the the harmonica.
They do some cool shows.
And he was doing it. They were doing it in a little patio area where you could drink and you could smoke. They were just right there playing. He had a little amp. The guy was on his harmonica, the white boy, and the black guy was just jamming. Dude, that was some of the best. Like, just seeing that live creation was some of the best things like I ever saw. You know,
the live music to me, it's an art that you just.
Because even if you mess up and you're a good guitar player, you can mess up and then nobody would even notice because it's live. You know what I mean? It's all in the moment. You know what I mean? So it was cool. It was cool to see live instrumentation like that. But as far as these new rappers, like we said, a lot of this, it's just here today, gone tomorrow. Here today, gone tomorrow. There's no more M&Ms. There's no more 50 cents. There's no more. It's all. Everyone wants to sound the same. They talk about the same thing. You know, it's all the same, man.
I don't know if we're ever going to see the day again of a mega seller like an Eminem, like a Dre, like a Snoop. I think those days are long gone. Yeah. And that's because the music industry has definitely changed with this digital world. Even the way we buy music now. When was the last time you bought a CD?
Shit, like 2000,
right?
12, 11,
it's all digital.
Maybe?
Yeah, our cars.
J. Cole's album. That was the last one.
If you've bought a car in the last 5 years, it doesn't have a CD player in it.
Forest Hill Drive.
You know?
Yeah, it doesn't. I think my car is 2012 and it has a CD driver. Drive a Honda Accord here.
I have a 17 and it has a CD player,
but it's Bluetooth.
It doesn't. Well, I have the option of doing all that shit too. Now, if you go look at the 18 models of the Santa Fe, there's no CD players. So I have like the very last year. It's like a fucking dinosaur.
Like if you see somebody in real life, you see somebody flipping through CDs, you would be like,
"Oh man, hey, that's actually
right."
I'm gonna tell you,
be like, "Hey, that guy got a CD player."
We've all. I'm sure you've had things stolen from you in your life.
CDs.
It's any object, any item.
No, but I'm saying for you, having CDs stolen. CD.
That was one of the hardest things for me.
Yeah, dude.
I'll tell you this, dude. In all of my music and entertainment, I had this CD catalog, like a big book, and I had every album cover signed. Like, so basically every band that I came across, I had tons of autographs.
And was that cool? And was that coming through because you being cool with Kuttonmouth Kings and all that?
Dude, I had autographs from if you name it, dude, I had the fucking autograph basically.
And getting to see those guys, huh?
Yeah. And I made the mistake of leaving that CD wallet in my car on of all fucking nights, Christmas night. Of I think it was 2010.
It's always got to be like a night you don't think it's.
Yeah, it's like the night you don't think about it.
Yeah.
And I come out to my car the very next day. My window smashed. The CD wallet's gone, dude. I literally collapsed to my knees, and they could have taken anything else, but that one I still can't get over it to this day, dude. Yeah. Like fuck, man, the shit, the memories I lost.
Well, I also have a cousin. Shout out to my cousin Jesse if you're listening. He told me a story too where he's about your age, and he had all the CDs, the original CDs. He's an Eminem fan, big Eminem fan. So he had all the original CDs, and he had an old school Honda. And he told me they got the universal key on his Honda, and he came back from somewhere. And he seen out of everything too. He said out of everything, I just want my CDs. Like these are things I'm never gonna get back.
Yeah,
unless I go and look for everything, but it's probably impossible.
It's one of those old. It's a fucked up thing to do, but if I'm gonna admit, so when you're younger and you ever went to house parties, did you ever steal stuff from people's houses?
You know what? I wasn't the biggest party person, but I can't say I ever was like, oh, let me steal some shit. Me personally, I do.
So the one thing you'd always want to take from a person's house, especially if you're at a house party, you don't like the person.
Oh, okay, that's
family photos.
And why is that?
Because they can't get that back.
Yeah, that's personal.
Especially the one on the wall, right?
It's personal shit.
Exactly.
Oh, it's personal.
You know? So that's how I felt when my CDs got stolen. I was like, dude, you took grandma's photos, basically, bro. I'm never going to get that shit
Hey,
back.
You know what he told me, too? Like, this is my cousin Jesse here. What he told me was he started to build up his collection, and he got robbed again. He got robbed again, dude.
I knew a fool in high school. He had one of those big 200 disc CD changers.
Oh yeah.
And somebody
came was he put into the back of the car and shit? I remember.
Somebody straight jacked the entire changer, like all 200 discs.
Yeah, the chamber where they come in. I used to have one of those in my '98 Camry. It was a 5 though. I didn't have the 200. I had the 5.
I guess that is the one benefit of this digital age. Like on my iPhone, I have Amazon Music.
Yeah, you can just connect it to your
car. I have everything on Amazon Music. I don't need to have CDs anymore, but there are those times, like a year ago or so, I was driving through the Utah desert. There's no fucking signal. I had to pop in a CD.
Yeah.
That's when it comes in handy.
So you being a comedian, give me some comedians you kind of watch, because I just seen the Gabriel Iglesias new special on
Fluffy's
Netflix.
Funny. I've gotten the
packing out the Dodger Stadium. Congratulations to my boy Fluffy. I think he's one of the better comedians. But for you, who are people that you kind of look to?
Number one, I've always looked up Sam Kinison. He died actually when I was 10.
I hear Joe Rogan talking about him a lot. I can't say I'm very familiar with his work.
Sam Kinison, you can look him up. He passed away in 92.
Okay.
Another comedian, again, he's passed away, would be George Carlin.
Is he the one that came out on Jay and Silent Bob?
George
him.
Carlin is on Jay and Silent Bob.
He was dope. I would watch him a little bit.
You have to watch George Carlin. That man's legend. He's a legend.
I remember him in that movie too.
Even if you're not a fan of comedy, watch his stuff. He makes you think. He passed away, I believe he passed away in 2008. I might be wrong.
Yeah, he wasn't that. It's not as far back, but he wasn't that long ago.
I might be wrong in the year that he passed. I think it's 2008. I could be wrong. But yeah, look up some George Carlin shit. He was awesome. Another guy, Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah.
I almost said Mitch Fatel. Mitch Fatel, he's funny in his own right. But Mitch Hedberg, that man he passed away in 2005, but he's still a legend to me. So those three right there, they're past, they're legends. Living wise, comedians, some of the guys I get to work with. Mm-hmm. Stoner Rob out of he was actually from Riverside, but he's now based out of Vegas.
He's doing it big because I've heard him be.
Stoner Rob is awesome.
They talked about it on a podcast with somebody. I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Stoner Rob's he's a good friend. He's given me a lot of opportunities to open for him and perform, and he opens for Cheech and Chong.
Oh shit! You go.
So I've gotten to perform for Cheech and Chong.
Royalty. Yeah.
And meet Cheech and Chong and got to perform. And one of the greatest, dude, I performed at Kushstock and Chong was there. And I came off the stage and Chong shook my hand and said that was good stuff. Mm-hmm. Man, To know that a guy that my parents used to fucking watch, a legend, told me I was good. That gives me motivation to never stop doing comedy.
And a lot of people don't know this was Chong, right?
That was Tommy Chong.
And a lot of people don't know this. Chong resurrected his career when he came out in that '70s show. It's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, oh man, yeah.
When he was the pothead guy in that show, man. They used to call him what was his name, dude?
Well, Tommy Chong is always. I think he's just. He has that.
I can't remember his name right now.
Chong has that roller coaster of a career, where he's up top, he's down low, up top, and down low, and those guys are getting old. And I'm gonna.
His name was Leo. Leo.
I'll tell you though, when I met Cheech and Chong, this was a little over a year ago. Cheech looks old. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was standing right next to him. He's definitely aging. Chong still, they're both aging. So they're living legends, and get out there and see them while you can. Mm-hmm. Definitely, you got to see them while you can.
All right, man. And then I just saw the news today. Donald Trump's running for president again, 2024. How do you feel about that? Do you think he has a chance?
I think that's just a bunch of nonsense. I don't think nothing's going to come of that. I honestly don't. I think that's all hype. Honestly, and the truth. I don't like to talk politics. But I'll be straightforward. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of ugliness in his presidency, and I don't think that's what Americans are made out of, and I don't think that's what we truly are. And I don't want to see that ugliness come back, because I feel like we're just now settling down out of it.
Yeah,
I feel like we're starting to get
when
back.
When he was president, it was hectic. It was.
Yeah, well, just look at January 6th. Mm-hmm. That's never happened at any time in history, ever.
Yeah. Ever.
And I don't think we need to have that kind of behavior around.
Now, for me personally, what I will say, nobody's perfect, and just as much as I see Republicans do it to the Democrats,
they're evil on both
sides. I see them do it the other way too, bro.
It doesn't. It
doesn't. It's just like you can't win. You can't. There's no win in there, bro.
Listen to me. It doesn't matter what side you're on. They're both evil. They're both corrupt.
They're looking out for themselves at the end of the day. It's like you try to pick a side and you're like, oh, I'm on the good side, and then you find out, oh no, that's not the good side. You've done fucked up shit just as the other side has. Hey man,
well, I'll leave it like this, dude. I have a dick, and it doesn't matter if I jerk off with my right hand or my left hand. My dick's still getting jerked off, and that's how I look at politics and how I look at America. America is just a bunch of dicks, and it doesn't matter if the right or the left who's jerking it. At the end of the day, as long as we come and we're all happy, who cares?
Hey, you said it best, man. Hey, well, before we get out of here, dog, I always try to ask this because we live in Cali. What is your top 5 West Coast rappers? Strictly West Coast, dead or alive. What's your top 5 West Coast rappers?
Wow. Yeah, put me on the spot like that.
I got to say West Coast because I feel like when you narrow it down to just a coast.
Yeah, because if you would have said of all time, dude, I can go some old school hip hop.
And everyone always, and that's the number one everyone goes to.
But when I go old school, that takes me East Coast.
Yep.
So, if you're asking for top 5, let me ask you, would you consider Tupac? Because originally New York, but he came to Cali. So that's a transplant.
That's true, but I will say Tupac represented more for the West Coast.
Again, number 1, right off the bat, is going to be Dre. And Snoop, number 1. Dre, number 2. My boy Eric Schroeder, Everlast. That's going to be on the list right there, House of Pain. You got to fucking jump around.
Hold on, one more time. Start over right here. Ready? Go ahead. Top 5.
Top 5, number 1, Snoop Dogg.
There we go.
Number 2 is going to be Eric Schroeder. Okay. Everlast.
Because
you got to jump around. That's the House of Pain right there.
Everlast was cool. Whitey Ford.
Yeah. Although I don't know if he's originally California. I'm questioning that in my mind right there. He did live here in Corona though, so that's a shout out there.
We'll just put him on there. West Coast. We'll just put him right there. Yeah, we'll put him on there. West Coast.
Snoop.
Everlast. So Snoop, Everlast.
Let's see. There's a guy out of Hollywood named Wax. If you get a hold of Wax, he's a pretty good underground rapper. I'm gonna shout out my boys in the Kuttonmouth. Those guys know how to flow pretty well too.
So we got Wax, Kuttonmouth at 4. One more.
Man, I'm too high, and you're making me think about this shit.
You gotta dig deep here.
You know what? I'm gonna go one more. I'm gonna go down San Diego way. Obnoxious. My boy Obnoxious, Obi.
Okay, well, you guys check those guys out. And for me, let me give my 5. Since Morrow gave his 5, my 5 for me, I got Exhibit.
He's from Detroit, though.
But we're gonna say he's from the West Coast. That is true. Corrupt is from Mississippi. A lot of people don't know that either. But Exhibit, so I'm gonna say Exhibit. I'm gonna say Ice Cube. I'm gonna say.
You know, I didn't think of Ice-T for a second, too. I love it.
Hey, Ice Cube is ace in the hole, man.
I didn't say Ice Cube. I said Ice-T.
Yeah, Ice Cube.
Ice-T is a fucking killer.
Ice Cube is the ace in the hole. All right, so I got, like I said, I got Ice Cube. I got Exhibit. I got Snoop. And hey, it does get hard. Let me get E40.
Well, you could even, living or dead. You can even say Eazy-E was a part of that.
And for my last one, I would say Mac Dre. That's my top 5 West Coast rappers.
There's a boy. You said the name Mac out of fucking Kansas City. Mac Lethal. You got to look up Mac Lethal. He's a speed rapper.
Did he used to do battle raps and shit too?
He did some internet battle raps and shit. Mac Lethal did, he's a speed rapper.
Yeah.
Out of Kansas. This boy's fucking, he's awesome.
Well, we got to check him out.
Yeah,
Well, anything else you want to touch here on the Shiesty Stove before we get out of here?
Well, shout out to you. Congratulations. You just had a daughter. You just had a baby. Congratulations.
And you're a father of a daughter too.
Yeah, my daughter, well, she'll be 17 soon, so one more year of payments and I'm free.
You heard it here first.
Hey, that's a fucked up comment. I'm sorry.
But I'm glad you were my first guest, dog.
Thanks
I got to pick your brain a little bit. We had a good time, chopped it up.
Yeah.
And this is another episode of the Shiesty Stove. I hope you all liked it. Like and subscribe. And we out.